We have with us the head of the section, the president. The president, Mr. Hassan, will be addressing this important conference today. We will have the opportunity to ask your fair question against the verbal question will respond to you. Mr. Sulu, the guest.
Thank you, members of the Fourth Estate. I bring you greeting from the office of the president. The president has sent his warmest greeting to you, and is encouraging each and every one of us to play safe, to abide by the protocols as issued by the Ministry of Health and other health actors within our country. As you are aware, the president returned home safely from Ghana, where he has attended the 59th ordinary session of heads of state and authority of ECOWAS in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. And there the president was able to address his colleagues, basically and telling them some measures to be taken in terms of strengthening and making ECOWAS more vibrant and efficient. Firstly, the president was glad that Ghana, that is also serving as chair of the heads of state and authority, was elected as non-permanent member to the UN Security Council for 2022 through 2023. And he also congratulated Macky Sall of Senegal, who will be chairing the AU from 2022 also to 2023. The president was very emphatic that a lot of reforms need to be made within the ECOWAS if the new vision for ECOWAS 2050 is to be achieved. So he talked about reforms being made in ECOWAS. There should be stern taken for rotational chair and meetings of ECOWAS, no matter the size, the status of the individual countries. And that he was urging ECOWAS to also adopt what he called the National Early Warning and Response Mechanism, a similar bill that he has submitted to the national legislature quite recently. He believes if that is accepted by his colleagues, then of course they will be making significant progress in terms of addressing insecurity within Mali and then the Sahel region. And at that meeting, we have almost all of the presidents represented, except for two countries that sent in the prime minister and the foreign minister. That was Niger and Senegal. Niger just had the election, so it's understandable. So all of the presidents representing their respective countries were there. Cabo Verde, Burkina Faso, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, Gambia, Ghana, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Togo were all present. And at the meeting, they all reaffirmed in a community issue, they all reaffirmed their commitment to peace and security, as well as stability within the region. And they believe that's a prerequisite for economic integration and development of ECOWAS. So basically, decision was reached when it comes to the single ECOWAS currency. That is, they will be phasing it out gradually, but they are hoping that by 2027 they will have a single currency which will be called ECO to be used throughout the region. So coming back home, the government, the president and the government of Liberia have paid for one of our colleagues. I hope it will draw our attention, because we have all been hoping and praying for the welfare of our colleagues, Gabriel Mills, to be given advanced treatment, because his family approached on numerous occasions that they were not happy with Pizan Hospital, where he had been for quite a while. So as we speak, last night, Gabriel Mills was transferred to NP Istanbul Brain Hospital in Turkey, where he is now, going through an investigative procedure for onward surgery. So government paid sum of $55,000 for him to be treated there. The doctor has assured the government that you'll be placed on the 45 days treatment plan. The first 5 days you'll be in the hospital. After 5 days, you'll be taken to a resident where you will be until he fully recovered. The government also was able to facilitate the travel of his wife, buy down ticket fares and lodging fee up to the 45 days she's expected to be in Turkey. And so all we need now is your prayer. He needs your prayer, and we all are hoping that he recovers so that he can come to join us to do our daily routine. The county tour, the president has visited 14 of our 15 sub-political divisions of our country. He was slated to visit the last county, which is Monrovia, before we have some interruptions, international engagement, as well as the new outbreak of the pandemic. So the team is studying the situation. We hope we can work together, follow all of the protocols put into place. Wearing a mask, staying away, keeping your social distance, washing your hands regularly, stay home if you have nothing to do. Be your brother's keeper. Yes, we have the joint security to be enforcing things, but like we know, we don't have that kind of a strength. Even the great United States or the UK or France or Russia does not have that capability to have a security person assigned to every house or to every individual. So it is our responsibility as citizens to make sure that our colleagues, our neighbors, help the government, help our people to play safe, because COVID-19 is non-partisan, doesn't know color, doesn't know race. Once you do not follow the protocols, if you do not wash your hands, if you do not wear your masks, if you do not keep social distance, it's the more likelihood that you will contract the virus and spread it to other people that do not deserve it. So we hope that we'll play safe. We want our country to be developed, but with the virus, these are things that hinder development. We hope and pray that it won't affect some of the programs that the president and the government is about to undertake. For example, we have just concluded the arrangement for the construction of overhead bridges. It was delayed due to the same pandemic, but we hope the stage has reached now where they are only looking for contractors, because we have from now to December for the contractors who will be contracted go through the vetting process. After that, a contractor will be chosen, and effective January 2022, the construction works will start immediately. That's the timetable the Minister of Public Works have given us, and that's what the government intend to do. We are told that 95% plus of the Japanese freeway or the Somalia Drive is completed and is hoping to be dedicated during the 26th Independence Day celebration, and we hope that will do. So basically, during the county tour, like I said, the president made a lot of promises, lighting of places. Let me quickly say that there was no commitment made to one county directly during the county tour of the streets being lighted. But the president has assured that every county in Liberia, their major streets will have street lights, and we hope that will happen. The reason I made mention of one county because there were reports that people dug holes. If you can recall, the first place we ever had street light was in Sastan, because the president made the first commitment in the car weekend, Fishtown, River G, but when the lights came, they came straight to the metals in Sastan, Fidockley, and where the lighting started from. So if people said the holes were dug when the president in Bon County, we don't know why, but Bon County will have a fair share of the street lights. No county, I repeat, no county will be left out of this, and all of the programs, the promises the president made will be implemented. Some of the projects that have been approved under this budget line that we are, and so this is encouraging local vendors, contractors. This priority will be given to them. They should apply. They should visit the LACE office, that's Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment. Talk about projects in Ban, in Zwedru, in Banga, in Grand Jida, which I called Grand Jida before. In Sano, we talked about the renovation of the Zebra City Hall, constructions of youth centers. So monies are ready. I'm told 53 projects have been approved, and that the local contractors should take advantage. They should be applied so as to be the ones to undertake these projects. Because if you want to have a bigger project to be carried out, or you want to implement that, I mean, you should start with the little ones. And I'm also happy to say that the Dwara market, according to the new update we have, it should have been sometime this month of next month, but I'm told by Liz that they were expecting some material, those material trickling in, so they are hopeful by August the Dwara market will be ready for dedication and to be used by our people. We hope this pandemic will not cause another postponement, and that things will go on as planned. So we hope that everything we do, we will play safe, we will abide by what the people are saying, and we will live by them, because people are saying every time they went to hospital there are no beds. Yes, absolutely, the hospitals could be overwhelmed if we do not play safe, but there will be no need to go to hospital if we all do our best. Like someone was saying, hospitals will not be able to stop motor car accident. The only thing that can stop accident is careful driving and following the traffic and safety rules. And so if we all play safe, we'll not have to reach the stage where people will have to look for beds, because we do not even have enough ventilations. Even the great United States were overwhelmed. They never have ventilation in some areas, and so we have to play safe. Having said that, so basically these are the major things we have to discuss. Like I said, we should all be happy and we should be thankful to the government of Liberia for our colleagues, and we also need our prayer, but most especially we should play safe. The president has also extended his sympathy to those who lost their life in recent times. It's kind of a heartbreaking, but only God knows why. Basically, I think that should do it for now. We'll be taking a few questions, but I hope I'll discuss and talk about those major things. So once again, let me overemphasize, this is encouraging Liberian contractors to be able to implement these projects. We talk about the constructions of housing units. Those some of the units in Nima have been completed, most especially in Papa community or Papa village. Then you talk about the one in Bangas, in Bonkande, rather, some of them have been completed. They are moving to the next phase of it. So for other projects that Liz have approved to be implemented, we are encouraging, and we want to stress that let our local contractor take advantage. Liz is easily found. They have a lot of representatives out of the counties. The offices are right back here at the back of the Foreign Affairs office or the executive mansion. They can be found there, so try to find them. If you cannot get to them, hopefully they can call me after the show. I can share some of the contact with you. So like I said, it's saddening that we lost a lot of people, people who lost their life during this recent outbreak of pandemic. Some of them worked with the president. We was UNICEF Peace Ambassador, like Yede Addison from Army Radio days. I remember working with all, calling me throughout the morning and evening hours, along with Sharon and other people. But it's heartbreaking. She has gone to the great beyond. Yes, they tell us that, yes, this life is like a dream. Just dream it and pass on. But I don't think we are continuing to see this happening. Let us play safe, let us do the best we can. And other people that I could not name, the president is touched whenever any of his citizens, any of his kinsmen, anybody from Liberia having to go to the great beyond. It's hurtful. He needs other people. So we'll pause for now and take a few questions if you have. If you don't have, congratulations. I mean, thank you for coming. Congratulations in advance for helping us propagate the mandate and message of playing safe during the COVID-19 period. We hope that you will use your platform so that you can educate our people that this virus is real. Try to do the best you can to play safe.
Yeah, Chief.
Thank you, Mr. Press Secretary. My name is Anthony Chifam, and I report for ABC Radio. My concern is there are calls from many Liberians with respect to the issue of COVID, calling on the president to take the vaccine. My question is, has the president taken the vaccine? If not, when will the president take the vaccine, and why is it good? Thank you.
Well, I think we should all understand that people are being encouraged to take the vaccine. The government is for the vaccine, otherwise the Ministry of Health would not be leading the campaign for people to take the vaccine. The dean of the cabinet, who happened to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs, led our members of the diplomatic corps, and they went, they took the vaccine, including himself. I myself been vaccinated. That tells you that the president supported the campaign. And even if the president comes today to take the vaccine, it will not make it compulsory for every citizen to take it. The president have gone in studio, made songs, encouraged people to play safe. People still are not playing safe. But the government supports people taking the vaccine. It was demonstrated by other branches of the government. Even the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia took the vaccine through phone. She represents the government. She had gone to government functions. So the vaccine in all over the world is not mandatory. I know people are given the decision to make. It's the decision of the people to be able to take the vaccine. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you whether the president is taking the vaccine or not. But the vaccine is something that is voluntary, that people should go to take, and that we should be careful in how we send out message. I can't recall. I'm not seeing the president not taking the vaccine, or the president won't take the president taking the vaccine. But there are a lot of countries across the world where vaccines being administered, being administered. I don't see their presidents taking the lead before they go. The great United States, when they launched the vaccine, Trump didn't take vaccine 1 day before he left office. There are other countries around the world, a lot of countries, but the people are trooping because the government supported, because the vaccine is voluntary. So what I'm saying, whether the president took it or not, the president will not take switch to beat anybody go and take the vaccine. I can take switch and beat any of my staff in the office to take the vaccine because I'm taking the vaccine. It's voluntary and people should take it. Their life comes first. If take for example anything happened to me, they are not going to go with me. If anything happened to them, nobody's going to go with them. So let us play safe and do the best we can. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Denise Nelson and I report for Joy FM, Joy TV. From the start of the COVID-19 and the resurgence of this COVID-19, Liberians have been concerned about the president pre-recorded message in times of crisis. Why is the president setting down for pre-recording during crisis? And there are a lot of calls now that there are lack of beds in our hospital. What is the president doing towards that? And finally, you made mention about overhead bridges. Where will that bridges be constructed?
I don't understand your question when you talk about pre-recorded message.
A lot of Liberians have complained that from the start of the COVID-19 and just recently before the president will travel out of Liberia, the address to the nation concerning the crisis, the pandemic, was pre-recorded. Did he pre-record? If yes, why is he settling down for them?
Well, let us get it straight. Let me start with that question. Is the prerogative of the president of anybody to either do a live message or a recorded message or whatsoever, even in the media, that what you call embargo. So if pre-recording was not meant, the word in back wouldn't exist in your media language, you know. So even the president can speak live and say, don't play until this time. So it's allowed, it's not a crime, it's not a taboo. The president address the nation live if he wants to. If he wants to do a pre-recorded message, he can do that. So that's not any breach of any ethics or law. So the president can choose to do what he wants to do. The major thing is the message to the people. Is it the president that is speaking? Yes. What is the message? Is he telling the people to play safe? Yes. Is it important for the people to play safe? Oh, me, yes. So it doesn't matter really whether the message is live. What matters most is the message, and the message is what we should follow the health protocols. We should be law-abiding. We should be peaceful. We should help our country grow. Okay? Because if we do not play safe and things go the other way around, it may not be good for every one of us. We have an economy that needs every cent, and so we need to play safe because we're not going to lead to a situation where we have to shut the country down. Although that will happen if there's a need, but it's not going to be the first instant. And your other questions?
Concerning the bed, its involvement or mandate to ensure that?
Well, there is no country in this world that can have the need to supply ventilation to all of its hospitals, beds to all of its hospitals. We should not worry about beds, we should not worry about ventilation. What should worry us most is how safe are we playing. If we play safe, if we follow the protocols, nobody will need bed, nobody will need one treatment. We saw it when people were being obedient, we saw what happened. Our case drastically were reducing, and we had never had a case in some period of time. We were moving about freely. And then when we had the second wave, people felt that, people were just doing these things maybe to attract donor support. People were just doing it to scare people. They don't want people to be out in the night. People who want to put their elbow down or bend their elbow, they feel they were being obstructed or this and that. But basically, if we can prevent or play safe, we will not worry about beds. But I just tell you honestly, there is no country in the world that can prepare that say every hospital will have a bed for every citizen. You don't have the capacity. This is a state like Liberia.
Are you saying that there's no need for extra centers?
I'm not saying there is no need. I cannot say there is no need for extra for centers. Centers are already being considered. Let me tell you, every center will have this in this place. The president is following it. Sometimes he asks the Minister of Health to send him pictures as to what is unfolding at this center to see how they look, what needs to be done. Last night, the president convened a special meeting with the health authority to address this situation. Tomorrow, again, the Ministry of Health, the health team from MFA and from the Ministry of Health will be addressing SPACO. That's a special presidential advisory committee on COVID-19. They will be having meetings to find a way forward. So there's a need for everything. But what I'm saying, we should not focus on having billions of beds. Because if you have the beds to lie on, there's a possibility you may not even survive if you lie down in bed. But there's a high possibility of your survival if you play safe. It's not difficult to play safe. You don't have to spend a single cent to wash your hands when you are home. You doesn't spend a cent to stay home when you have nothing to do in the street. You doesn't have to pay a cent if you social distance. So let's wear our masks, let's wash our hands. If we have to do the regular when we're going out, let's social distance and let's play safe. Once we do that, even if we have money to buy beds, those money could be used for other developmental purposes.
The last question has to do with the bridges.
Well,
where will be constructed?
In Kokota, where we have the industrial complex and then the boulevard end, where the bridges should be. And like I said, the agreement has been signed, a 50 million grant by the Chinese people. The delay first was COVID. They came back, they signed a contract because they have completed the studies. The contractor have come. What they have to do now, I mean, the Chinese engineers were here to do the feasibility study, finalized, contract was signed. So what they are doing now, it has to do with the vetting process for the contractors. So they have a few months in between to do that. And the tentative schedule is that come 2023 January, work starts immediately. So they are using this period to vet and hire the contractor.
Yeah, Mr. President, once again, my name is Anthony Jeffan from ABC Radio. Two questions. The first one is, when the president spoke, he gave mandate to those authorities responsible to ensure that COVID is prevented in the Ministry of Justice. Otherwise, he also talked about there was an imminent lockdown that was talked about. How far are we with that? The second question is, of recent, Senator DeLone gave $7,500 United States dollars to the Monrovia County Health Team. That is to the Ministry of Health, because the health team is under the Ministry of Health. There was allegation that the $7,500 was rejected by the Ministry of Health under an order. My concern is, as the executive, what about that? If so, what is your action or response to that?
If you said under an order, which order? What kind of order? What was the order? Order from where? So basically what I heard the minister said is that some of your papers carry that don't draw into this, or we don't want to be a part of this. I don't know what you are talking about, but I think what I heard the minister saying was that if Senator DeLone feel that hospitals are overwhelmed, he can go to other community, either buy bears or buy drugs, as he has been doing, and today, but they did not want to take such a money. Probably the message was to the senator and other lawmakers. Probably the message, don't get me wrong, I don't speak for all, but probably if I want to read between the lines, that the health sector needs a lot of support, but they want it through budgetary allocation, what they themselves be able to fully honestly account for that. We had a situation with Liz, and Liz said that they cannot take such a money because they do not implement projects for individual lawmakers, except there is a MOU. And once they don't have the MOU, they don't want the money. But firstly, where did the money came from? Where it came from? The national budget, right? It was a budget line for the national legislature that they wanted some monies for citizen engagement. Government approved that, so go and engage your people. We know from day one, it's not a hidden secret. Since 1847, most of our institutions are being under-supported. You have the health sector, you have education. So why don't you increase the support for them, where they are honestly accountable to that? So do you want the executive, like the minister now? Because if the ministry have taken the money, it means they are under obligation to report to the law and come and report to the president. They are reporting lines. So if any representative or any senator feel that some institutions really need support, they should do that through budgetary allotment. So I don't know where you said the order came from, so I can't talk about that.
The next question.
You asked another question, what was it?
Yeah, the first question on
Okay, so basically, that's what I've been saying all day. Yes, the president talked about a task force, and the ministry, the police, or the justice ministry. But like I always said, and I've been saying since today, you would not have a policeman on every vehicle. You would not have a policeman standing behind every house. But we find ourselves in our own community, in our own homes. It is very easier to police your own home than a stranger to come to police your home, because you are always home. Let's tell our children, let's tell our wives, our husbands, those are what I have. If you don't have, if you have your faithful partner you are dating, you have your children, you have your relative, encourage them to wear the mask, encourage them to wash their hands, to keep social distancing if they have to go out, encourage them wherever they are to follow the simple health protocols. When we do that, we don't have to lock down our country. And I don't want people yearning for lockdown. I don't think it's called a truthful citizen will want this government to lockdown, because lockdown is not healthy for us. It's not healthy for our economy. It's not healthy for ourselves, health-wise, whatsoever the case may be. So let's just play safe and follow those simple rules. Wash your hand, wear your mask, keep your social distance. If that is done, fine. So like you are here and like you have been doing, let's help encourage our people through our various platforms to tell them that this virus is real. Let's take all the measures necessary to prevent ourselves from contacting or contracting this virus.
Well, if nothing much, I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank the Press Secretary for giving us this smooth information on the text of the President. Thank you. We'll see you next Tuesday.
So it's a welcome news, and I hope some of the papers I want to do a share on mails will be able to give you some photos from Pizan Hospital for the MP Istanbul Brain Hospital, where he's currently and we hope that the timetable this doctor gave us will be will be good for him, for us, because I know most of looking forward to the day that males will join us. Our colleague Jerry also is doing what I'm told. He personally called me before I could go to Ghana, that the doctors have asked him to come back to Liberia to wait for maybe for some time so they can go back for a final check. But he said he doesn't want to come back, he wants to stay there. So I told him the doctors should be able to communicate to us directly, and we know what to do from there. So we are glad that every one of them will be able to join us, so that we can continue our duties, so that we can continue to do what we do. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for watching.